Social media is the biggest cheat code to business. There's just nothing like it. But when I talk to entrepreneurs, there's one common problem that keeps coming up over and over and over. How can I grow on social media if I don't have time to make content? This is the biggest issue. If you run a business, you just don't have time for a second job. So how do you build an audience without spending another 40 hours per week? In this video, I'm gonna give you the answer. Now, I've grown from 0 to 1 million followers in the last 2 years, billions of views, 6-figure months. I figured out how the social media game really works, and then I built an operating system to make it easier for me to grow. So I'm gonna walk through that full framework. This is the blueprint for how to build a social media content machine that runs on easy mode. Okay, first let's clarify. When I say social media, I'm talking about Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Snapchat, every platform except for YouTube. The YouTube strategy is similar, but it has a few key differences. So I'll cover the YouTube workflow in a future video. Now, when it comes to social media, the way to win is short form video. This is where all the platforms are going. This is where all the attention is going. If you can learn how to make short form video consistently, you're set. And it's not to say you can't win with text or images or audio or any other format. It's just way, way harder. It will take you longer to grow, it's harder to cut through, and it's just way more competitive. The social media platforms are all pushing short form video super heavy right now. And it's because the data is showing that's what the people want. That's why LinkedIn added a short form video tab, X added a short form tab, Snapchat added a short form tab, Instagram Reels, TikTok, even YouTube Shorts. I'm telling you, the fastest way to grow on social media is short form video. And I'll tell you this, you're not too late. We are still early in this wave. You can still win huge. And if you just commit to this for even 6 to 12 months, your life and your business will completely change. Okay, so back to the key question. If you want to grow on social media, how do you create a short form video operation that doesn't take up all of your time? First, I'm gonna break down the whole workflow for how you actually go end to end on a short form video. Then I'm gonna add layers on top of that workflow. First, the base layer, and this is hard mode. This is you doing everything yourself. I'm just gonna walk through this as a baseline and tell you exactly what you should do for each step and how long approximately it should take you. Second is the tool layer. What are all the tools that you could use today to speed up the process of making short form video? And spoiler alert, these tools are gonna save you about 50% of the time on their own. And then third is the team layer. What are the critical roles that you could hire for to most efficiently run this machine? Who do you hire? Where do you find them? How much should they cost? And how do you glue them together? By the way, for every single step, I'm gonna have a link in the description, super organized. So either a free guide that I put together to help you with tools for that step, or a link to a specific tool directly. Everything you need will be linked, ordered below. Okay, let's start with the full short form video workflow. There are 6 core steps needed to go end to end on a video: idea mining, idea research, script writing, recording, editing, and posting. Okay, so we're gonna start with the base layer. Again, this is what I said is hard mode. It's you doing everything yourself. This is how you have to start out, but I wanna walk through exactly what to expect and the time that it should take you. Okay, let's start with idea mining. Now, idea mining is the process of consistently finding or generating the best possible ideas for your niche. And this usually involves studying what is working for others, finding customer pain points through interviews, or remixing some successful thing in another space back for yours. Idea mining is the most slept on part of the short form video process. Most people look at content creation like a pyramid. They think they should be spending the least amount of time on the ideas and the most amount of time on the editing. But I think this is the wrong way to look at it. Ideas and storytelling are just as, if not more important than editing, especially because they happen earlier in the process. You can save yourself the most rework if you just spend more time up front coming up with better ideas. Now, the idea mining process is typically the hardest thing to figure out on your own because most business owners really aren't trained to think in a content-first lens. You essentially have to be answering the question, what is a great video idea for my avatar over and over and over all day long? For idea mining, if you know what you're doing, this process will typically take you around 5 hours per week, but it could be significantly longer if you don't or if your niche is super hard to research. Again, as a reminder, I'm gonna come all the way back through this 6-step workflow again in 1 minute, and I'm gonna layer on top the tools and the team that you can use for every step to make this go way faster. I'm just starting with the baseline. Okay, next we go to idea research. Once you have a validated idea, how do you actually go about developing that idea to pull out the most compelling parts that you can storytell around? Finding those super interesting nuggets is also a super critical piece of the idea process. And doing this well requires you to have advanced knowledge about what actually makes for a winning idea. Again, on hard mode, if you're doing this all manually, this part of the process is gonna take 30 to 45 minutes per video. Coming up with the initial idea is one thing, but then developing it to find out what's interesting, that's a whole nother piece. Okay, the next piece is script writing, and things get more straightforward from here, so I'll speed through the rest of this base workflow. Script writing is the storytelling process to take that researched and developed idea and then write a great story with a compelling hook and a body that people want to listen to. This is seen more as the art part of the video making process. On hard mode, script writing is going to take you another 30 to 60 minutes per video. So far, we haven't even recorded and we're 2 to 3 hours in on finding the idea, developing it, and then writing the compelling script. This is why taking social media seriously when you're starting out is super hard. It just takes a long time to do these pieces when you're learning. Okay, next is recording, and thankfully this is the easiest part of the process. Once you have a workflow set up and equipment that you're used to, recording should only take 10 to 20 minutes per video. If you're moving from location to location or you're outside, it's possible this takes longer, but most recording formats can be pretty quick. All right, the last big step in the process is editing. And editing is the hardest piece because it's a language that few business owners have ever tried to learn. Everyone can write, so if you're going from a bad scriptwriter to a good one, at least you're building on a base skill set that you have some previous knowledge of. But most people have never touched an editing program before, so when you open up for the first time, it's a complete foreign language. And when you're on the hard mode step with editing, like I was, each video takes anywhere from 1 to 4 hours to edit. You'll get better over time and a little bit faster, but this is where most people start. As an anecdote, I personally edited my first 200 videos, and my average towards the end was about 3 hours per video. Okay, now the last step, just to round it out, of course, is posting and engaging. And this includes writing the captions for each platform, posting, and then responding to comments, which is super important. And this will typically take around 15 to 20 minutes per video, but could be a little bit longer if you're posting and engaging on every single platform. But okay, that's the base layer. That's the hardest it will ever be. Now let's get into the good stuff. Because if you're like me and you tried this at the beginning and you saw how long it took per video, immediately you're like, I'm never gonna be able to do this. I have to find a faster way. And I completely agree. This is the biggest blocker for entrepreneurs. It's hard because you know you should be doing it, literally earning compounding free attention for your business, but you just don't know how to close that time gap. The way I look at it is like this. You're either gonna pay for that flat part of the curve with short form video with time or money. If you have no money, you should start by just investing time in the base layer workflow that I just walked through. But if you have even a little bit of money or a business that is generating some cash flow, there are ways to buy your time back and speed this process way up. And this is exactly what I have done personally. I have a set of short form channels that drive about 20 million views per month, generate anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 per month of direct revenue, and would also drive thousands of premium qualified leads if I had the right product at the bottom of the funnel. Now, my secret is that I have systematized a lot of this process. So I'm gonna show you exactly how I do it. Let's go back through each step of the workflow, and I'm gonna show you the tools and team members that I use to speed this process up. And at the end, I'll give you my thoughts on prioritization. If you can't afford to upgrade every piece at once, like most people can't, where should you start and how do you stack those tools and teams accordingly? Okay, so back to idea mining. Now, the dream for idea mining will be to have a tool that automatically tells you exactly what video ideas to make, so you don't even have to think about finding ideas. And the problem is there is no great tool that does this today. Now, the good news is I am building this right now. Depending on when this video comes out, it may already be available. But if it isn't out yet and you want to be on the VIP waitlist to solve this short form idea problem, you're going to want to fill out the form that's in the description. Anybody on that form is going to get first access to this when we launch it. Now, until that's live, the only tools available for speeding up this idea mining process are going to be to glue together a bunch of different disparate data sources. The good news is these all have free options. Here are a few of the best ones. First, TikTok Creator Search Insights is actually a super underrated and valuable tool. It not only tells you what's trending on TikTok for your category, but it basically gives you a blueprint to what they're going to boost. So to access it, literally just type Creator Search Insights in the search bar and you'll see it come up. You can look by category for what's trending. You should also be subscribing to relevant newsletters, blogs, Twitter, YouTube, any profile that talks about the stuff in your space. You can find newsletters on Substack or Beehive's directory explore pages. And if you want to find accounts on social media, just find one person that you trust and then go to who they're following. Once you find a bunch of newsletters and blogs, you can use a tool like Feedly to aggregate them all together and it will give you a daily briefing. Your goal with idea mining is to become a magnet for what's most interesting in your niche. So you become in the know and constantly are aware of all the latest trending information. Now, the most helpful thing you could do for idea mining today is to build a creator list. Build a list list of other short form accounts, whether they're creators or brands or aggregators that are in your niche, so that you have easy access to those accounts. Because the easiest way to make winners is to remix off of proven winners. So you want to track these creators and figure out what they're talking about that is working. If you struggle to build this list, just find one, like I said earlier, and then go to who they're following. That's a great way to kind of curate. This will be the easiest way to build it. You could also probably use ChatGPT Operator as an AI agent to put this together for you. Now, I know that even if you glue all these tools together, the hard part is actually having the filtering criteria and system for knowing which ones to actually make. Again, I'll make a video breaking down exactly how I do this in the future, but for now, there is not a great tool to do this. If you want it to be 100 times easier with our tool, make sure you're on that waitlist in the description. Okay, this brings us to the idea research and script writing pieces of the process. And the question is, once you have a compelling video idea, is there a way to do research, find the most compelling pieces, and then storytell through script writing faster than the 60 to 90 minutes it takes to do it by hand? And the answer is yes, there is a tool, and it's called sandcastles.ai. And I know this tool is the best in the world at doing this for short form video because I built it. And I took everything I know about short form video, all the frameworks, the formulas, all the playbooks I talk about in this channel, all the learnings from billions and billions of views, and I infused it directly into the DNA of this product. There is nothing even close to this for short form video. Here's exactly how it works. You put in a video topic. You can add as much context or as little as you want, and then we will automatically begin researching and finding all the relevant sources about that topic to create a 360 view of understanding on it. And this happens automatically for you. You can add manual sources if you want to add other things that we may not have seen, but we'll do the research automatically if you want. And we include YouTube, Twitter, blog, newsletter, PDF, anything with a link, we get it. Now, after one click, we start mining for what's interesting. And we take all those sources, everything you gave us, and we're gonna bucket those topics into super easy to understand chunks that you can pick how you wanna direct the story. Now, we recommend what we think is best based on everything I know about winning on short form, but ultimately the controls are in your hands. You can tweak them and change them if you want. And these are essentially the building blocks of the story that you're assembling. Now, that process to get all the relevant sources, to create a 360 understanding, to extract out what's interesting, summarize them back to you so you can pick, we do that in 20 seconds. So this is the whole idea research phase from 30 to 45 minutes per video down to 20 seconds. But of course, that is only the first half of what Sandcastles does, because then we take those core building blocks of the story that you chose and that we maybe recommended, and we write the full script for you. And we've taken everything that I know about storytelling and script writing and persuasion and hooks, all the videos you guys have been watching on this channel, and we infused that plus so much more into this DNA of the storytelling agent. We also give you a super powerful storytelling assistant that sits right next to the script. So if you want to iterate the whole thing with specific instructions, you can do it. If you want to highlight the hook and iterate based on a specific tone, style, or change, you can do it. It's basically like having a version of me sitting right next to you as a storytelling assistant that you could use when you're iterating your scripts. Now, out of the box, that script engine is super good already, but a lot of people want customization to be able to personalize the tone of their script. So you can do that with the chat or directly editing. Now, to be fair to the market, it is definitely possible for you to find a great idea, research and develop that idea, figure out what's interesting, mine that into buckets, and write the script all using ChatGPT or Perplexity or Claude. It's very possible for you to do that. You could definitely try like I have for the last several months. But if you're like me, you already know that trying to use those to get a high quality turnkey output just never works because it's way too generalized. Sandcastles wins because it was built for one single purpose, short form video. The entire thing was built specifically to optimize for short form storytelling, psychology, and virality. Now combined, the idea research plus script writing phase takes about 1 to 2 hours if you're doing it the hard way. And Sandcastles does that full process in less than 60 seconds. Again, hand up, I'm definitely biased because I live and breathe this stuff all day long, but I would not have released this product if I didn't think it was 10 times better than ChatGPT at doing this task. If you want to give it a try because you supported my YouTube, I have a free trial link in the description for Sandcastles. Okay, let's move on to recording. So far, we've already cut the time to make a short form video from like 2.5 hours pre-recording down to 30 minutes. But let's keep going. The easiest way to systematize the recording process is to have an audio, video, and lighting setup that you like already dialed. So all you have to do is sit down and press record. Now this takes a little bit of time up front to get it set up, but once you have it, you are golden. I actually put a free guide together with 4 different gear lists: audio, video, lighting, everything you need. The first one is the most affordable, and then the fourth all the way up to the Lamborghini, kind of like the studio that I have, the exact equipment that I use. You don't need this, it's overkill. But 1, 2, and 3 other studio options with all the gear you'd want linked in the guide below. The other way to systematize your recording process will be to use something like a HeyGen AI avatar. This will be using AI to pre-record yourself, and then it will literally make a digital clone of you. So you just put the script in, and then it is you rendered reading the script. So if you use this, you wouldn't actually have to ever get in front of the camera, which is pretty crazy. There are actually people on social media already that are fully AI avatars that most people do not know. Varun Maya is one of the most popular ones. My friend Rowan also does this. And I am actually an AI avatar right now. I'm just kidding. That'd be pretty crazy if I did this whole thing as an AI. So the truth is, I've actually tried playing around with this myself for shorts, where I tried to create my own avatar in HeyGen. The problem is the mouth movements and the looping kind of repetitive motions are just not human-like enough. And so people using this have to kind of cut around it. I don't like that for my style. But we're maybe only 1 to 2 iterations away from it being extremely believable. And so pay attention to this. This would be the ultimate way to record. Now, using HeyGen, you wouldn't actually save that much time because you still have to write the script in, program it, wait for the video to render. And if you're doing it manually, it's only taking 10 minutes. However, it enables a ton of flexibility because you don't actually have to be in front of a camera or your studio to record. You can have someone else on your team, a content researcher, programming the videos and printing them out without you ever touching it. So it enables way more flexibility once it works. I'll put the link to HeyGen below if you want to try it as well. But for most people right now, I'd recommend looking at the gear list, picking one of the 4, getting those items, getting it set up, and then just dialing in that process so you can press record super quick. Okay, next is editing. Now, when it comes to editing, there is no automatic style match tool where you can kind of pick somebody else's video, put it in and say, edit my video exactly like this. If that existed, it'd be $1 billion company. I bet Adobe will do it. We haven't seen anything like that yet. Now, there are a few buckets of editing tools that can save you 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there. There are so many of them. I'm not going to list them here because I don't want to make the video too long. Again, I put together a completely free guide listing all of those tools, what they're good for. Some are free, some are paid. You can download that doc, and then that will help speed up some of the editing workflow. Now, when it comes to the actual editing itself, you're probably going to use one of the following platforms: Adobe Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro, DaVinci Resolve, Descript, CapCut, or you're going to edit directly in the social media apps themselves. TikTok has a good app editor. Instagram's about to launch their own dedicated mobile app editor. And for these different softwares, the best way to get up to speed is just to watch free tutorials on YouTube to try to learn the basics. If you want to learn Premiere Pro specifically, which is what I use, I actually built a bunch of free tutorials in Wavy World, which is my free community for creators and entrepreneurs. There's like 13,000 people in there, and it's super helpful to get up to speed from 0 on Premiere Pro. Again, I'll put an invite link to that below if you want. Okay, so just to close the loop for the tools layer, let's cover posting as well. Now, there are a ton of posting scheduler tools: Hootsuite, Buffer, Assembly, and these tools are meant to upload once and post everywhere, schedule it automatically. I would actually recommend not using these third-party schedulers because I've heard that the algorithms on these social platforms will demote your content if it's coming in from a pre-scheduled post. You're better off actually uploading it through the platform itself, saving it as a draft if you want, and then posting it when you're ready. Okay, so to summarize the time savings that you're gonna get with just the tools that I mentioned: idea mining, there's no great tool, so there's really no time savings. Idea research and script writing, it's sandcastles.ai all day long. Again, I'm biased. You're gonna save between 30 and 45 minutes for each piece. That's 60 to 90 minutes combined that you will save on every video. For recording, it's already pretty quick, 10 to 20 minutes, but I recommend getting a gear list, getting it set up, and that will at least save you maybe 10 minutes per video of rummaging around with the different equipment. For editing, there are free and paid tools in the guide below. These will probably save you 30 to 60 minutes of the 1 to 4 hours. And then for posting, again, no recommended tool, 0 time savings. So for less than $100 a month plus any equipment upgrades, you're gonna be able to save 2 to 3 hours per video in the process just by using those tools. And now to improve on this even further, this is where we start to add team members in the stack. And this is how you really extract yourself out of this whole process. In the future state, at the optimal setup, all you're doing in this process is recording, or you're using HeyGen to kind of program it for you and you don't even have to touch it. Now there's 3 different roles that you could look to hire for: an editor, a content researcher, and an in-house creator. I'm gonna break down each one here. Okay, let's start with an editor. Now, the highest leverage thing you can do if you wanna upscale your content operation is to hire an editor. If you edit manually, it's gonna take a minimum of 1 to 4 hours per video. And I promise you, if you do not like editing, other priorities will get in the way, and this will slowly decrease your volume output to 0. Because if you don't like editing, you will do everything you can to avoid it. This is how I was. I brute forced my first 200 videos by editing myself, but I hated it every step of the way. I did not wanna edit. I was desperate to find a a way to hire an editor. Now, I tried to onboard a few editors on the way up, but the taste gap was so big between what I wanted and had and what I was getting, it just wasn't worth it. But I finally found an editor that was super high quality, and he was able to crank out 1 short form video per day, so up to 20 per month. Now, the key though is that I didn't skimp on the quality and taste of the editor. That is super critical here. I found that paying a little bit more for the right editor that had the taste embedded made all the difference. Now, a great editor that's working on this kind of volume, 1 video per day, 15 to 20 videos per month, should cost around $3K per month. And if you want to hire one exactly like the one I have, that's honestly been responsible for hundreds of millions of views, I have a link in the description. You can fill that out. Okay, the next role is the content researcher. And this is someone that's specifically trained on the idea mining and research process. So they're gonna run the full idea mining playbook for you in the background, and then they're gonna sync with you either daily or weekly and go over those ideas to kind of co-brainstorm. This will shortcut the 5 to 10 hours per week and the mental bandwidth of thinking about ideas all the time down to 0. Now, typically when you have somebody dedicated to just this for you, you're right away gonna become one of the best in the space because they're focused all day long on finding and filtering out the best ideas. And when you have that content researcher also paired up with sandcastles, they can get the idea, develop the idea, and write the script for you. So they're coming to you with done scripts ready for you to record that have been validated twice by them and by sandcastles. I kind of think of this like a ghostwriter, but for short form content. The content researcher can also handle posting, captions, and comment replies as well. So it's kind of everything in the front, you record, you hand off for the edit, and then everything in the back. And I'll be honest, I used to be scrambling day after day trying to find ideas. I have so much to do, it would always get pushed down, and then I'd end up making videos where I knew the idea wasn't good, I just didn't have time to filter through. As soon as I got a content researcher, all of a sudden I've got 5 fresh, validated ideas coming to me every single day. My list for great ideas has grown so long that I always know I have something good to make. Now, I will say, part of the reason why my content researcher is so valuable is because I trained him on my idea mining process. And I had so much interest from my friends on this that I actually worked to create kind of like a training program to upskill a bunch of other content researchers for people to work with. Now, this role is going to cost anywhere from $3 to $4K per month as well, but it's super worth it if you don't have time to think about ideas all day. If you want to hire one of these content researchers that is trained on my method, kind of pre-installed with my operating system for ideas, fill out the link below as well. Okay, and then lastly, if you wanted to solve this whole thing with one single role, you could hire an in-house creator. An in-house creator with the right skill mix could handle ideas, script writing, recording, editing, posting, the whole thing for you. And depending on the niche and the experience level, a turnkey creator like this will probably charge between 6 and 8K per month to make anywhere from 10 to 15 videos. The upside of this is that it's fully turnkey, so you only have to work with one person, and this is the quickest way to kind of flip the switch from nothing to something working right away. The downside is that some of the brand authority is going to accrue to the creator's face, especially if they're recording for you. Most creators don't want to do the ghost work to find the ideas, write the scripts, and then have you do them, so it's probably going to be all or nothing with this creator solve. Now, hiring an in-house creator is usually the best option for a brand that wants to turn on short form video without requiring the founder to do anything. But this may not be the best option if you're selling products, services, or expertise that requires that authority to accrue on your face and your personal brand. So it may be the best for you, it may not, it just depends on what type of company you're running. If you want a process to find, vet, and hire the top creators in this way, pre-vetted, the best way to find them, there's a link below as well. I have a great service for doing this. Now, I want to say this, a lot of you who have made progress on this are probably using a full service agency that sells the turnkey full service for anywhere from 6 to 10K per month. But I don't think this is the right solve for you. And if your content hasn't started working, I'll tell you exactly why. For one thing, the sum of the total is more than the sum of the parts. The agency, because of their markup, is charging you more than what it would be to glue together the 2 or 3 roles that you need per month. And 2, the best way to get the best talent is to hire specialists at each thing and stitch them together. If you hire an agency, you're really hiring a generalist, and chances of them having a savage at every single piece is very, very low. You're paying a steep markup for this, and your content is probably coming out average. If it were me, I don't want a Swiss Army knife. I want a razor blade and then a screwdriver, and I'll put them together. This is a big mistake that entrepreneurs make when they're trying to automate their content workflow. They try to sprint to save time by hiring a full service agency, but the agency is just not good because A, they're not in the trenches, and B, they're not specialized at each particular thing. So my recommendation and what I did is hire each individual piece of specialists that are trained for their piece, and then build systems and use AI to automate the glue between them. This is what I do for my own stuff. Okay, now before we wrap up, let's really quickly talk about prioritization. If you can't afford everything and everyone at once, you kind of have to prioritize and build up the stack. So when it comes to prioritization, here is the order of operations that I would follow. The first thing I would do is integrate sandcastles immediately. Again, I'm biased, but this is $40 a month and you're gonna save 10 to 20 hours right away. If you're serious about content, this is a layup. Immediately after that, I would go through the free guides that I linked below. The one on recording, the one on editing tools, as well as my notes on a creator list. I would start putting those in place as well to kind of get the low-hanging fruit on the margins and speed that part up as well. So right away, right there, you're less than $100 a month and you've saved half the time. The next thing I would do immediately is hire an editor. This is the best ROI you're gonna have. This is probably the thing inhibiting you. You're gonna save 2 hours per video, so 20 to 40 hours per month for $3K per month. Any entrepreneur is taking that trade all day long. So that's the first role I would hire. And then the next role I would hire, if I'm not doing something in-house, is to bring on a content researcher. And that allows you to completely detach from the ideas piece, which is the highest leverage piece in the process. So all in, if you integrate those correctly, you've basically built a short form pod for about 6K per month. And you can be pumping out 20 videos a month, spending 2 to 3 hours recording, and that's it. Now, I totally understand that trying to take all of this in and action against it is a lot to bite off. These are obviously all the steps you have to take, but actually figuring out how to do them is really difficult if you've never tried it before. If you want to take a stab at doing this on your own, this video should be a blueprint for you. And a bunch of the other stuff on my channel should help you go 1 to 2 levels deeper on every single piece. That's why I put it together. But if you want to compress the speed and make sure this starts working sooner, I built a full program for that. And I did it because I keep getting reach outs from all my entrepreneur friends asking me to teach them how to do it. So I just put it all in a program. It's designed to take the entrepreneur from 0 to crushing with short form video in a couple months. So if you're an entrepreneur and you want to speed run this short form process, it's still going to take work. You still have to put in the reps, but you want to avoid the landmines and let me just tell you exactly how to do it as fast as possible. I have a waitlist below for that as well. All right, guys, that's all I've got for this video. Hopefully it was helpful for you to see the end-to-end short form flow in this way. Let me know in the comments what you guys want to see next. I'm happy to put together anything. I just want to see more entrepreneurs win. Until then, we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.